What was supposed to be a night of celebration turned into disaster after 4 friends who were all drunk left the bar in the city without a designated driver. Designate a driver. Don't drink and drive.
This is your news source evening bulletin for today, Friday, the 13th day of September in the year 2024. I'm Gordon Mosley reporting, and here's what we're tracking tonight. With the iTel company announcing its plans to completely shut down its Guyana operations in November, the Labour Ministry has started to engage the company to ensure that more than 400 workers to be laid off are treated correctly. And in cases where severance packages have to be offered, those packages are offered. Labour Minister Joe Hamilton on Thursday said other meetings are expected with company officials.
Local management has indicated that a couple of things. One, there is a discussion and conversation about severing. The number at this moment is not a definitive number. Secondly, that the principals of the company will reach out to the ministry soonest. They will be in a better position to advise us about what their plans are. And they have been advised and instructed by the Ministry of Labour about the necessary procedures they will have to follow.
The company is still to formally inform the Chief Labour Officer about the closure plans and the severance of the workers. The Labour Minister said the company will have to make available a list of all of the persons who are to be severed, along with the remuneration packages.
All is not lost, I would say, to the people. Important that we have the Central Recruitment and Manpower Agency that can be of assistance to persons who might have an interest. We do placement of persons. We have our job bank where persons can go up there, put up their credentials, and seek employment. We have about 300 companies that are registered in the job bank. So there's a lot of options that people can explore.
3 days ago, the customer call center company announced its closure plans to its staff members. The company explained at the time that it was forced to make the decision after extensive analysis and discussion among its leadership team. More than 400 workers will lose their jobs as a result of the closure of the Guyana operations. The company's management said despite the many investments that it has made over the years in Guyana, the operations here in Guyana are no longer sustainable. While describing Guyana as a gem, the company said it has faced ongoing challenges despite the country's continued economic growth. It was further explained that as Guyana's economy expands, the cost of doing business in Guyana is rising, and it has become more difficult to find and retain qualified candidates. More news coming up in a moment.
It all starts with one. Maybe it's one look, you know the one, or one touch, even one word. It can start with one step, or one promise, one thrill, one first time, one deep breath, one leap of faith, one day to remember, or one night to forget. One moment, so many stories that make up one crazy, average, everyday, fabulous life. We get one life, just one. Make your move. It all starts with one.
is so much more than just four walls, floors, and ceilings. It's a lifetime of great memories and stories. Come talk to us and start your journey home today.
Republic Bank, we're the one for you.
Are you ready to elevate your career with a world-class education from the comfort of your home? The University of Excellence Management and Business, UEMB, Guyana's premier accredited and recognized tertiary institution, invites you to join one or more of our comprehensive 145-degree programs. Registration is now open for our next intake on September 9 and every 2 months thereafter. Enroll now and secure a 50% scholarship. Choose from an ABA, BBA, MBA, MPM, EMBA, EMPM, and LLM degrees, available in 14 specializations. Whether you hold an undergraduate degree, a diploma, or relevant professional qualifications, apply. We are an accredited degree-granting tertiary institution in Guyana. Our programs are also equivalent to a USA Regional Accredited degree. Submit your completed application form, proof of entrance qualification, and any form of ID. For more details, visit our administrative office in the Critchlow Labour College, front building, Wolford Avenue, or call 225-1395, 225-1397-9, 618-3434, and 681-3434. Progressing to a degree is as easy as ABC with UEMB. Deal with the best and forget the rest.
I can't wait until tomorrow.
Yes.
Start packing this, yeah?
I ain't start packing yet. Usually I pack a couple hours before and I go. Drive. I got my phone, I got my keys, my charger, my
Procrastinating planning for the future? Well, that's never a good idea. Let Demerara Mutual and Demerara Fire and General help you get started with planning for your future today. I'm with Dem.
With the public shock and outrage over an 11-year-old giving birth at the Georgetown Public Hospital recently, the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions today said it will not publicly offer any comment on the status of the advice that it was asked to provide to the police in relation to the matter. The DPP in a statement also revealed that the matter involves 2 children, hinting that the father of the baby may also be a child. The DPP's office said it has observed media reports on the issue and would only say that the matter involves 2 children. And based on the Juvenile Justice Act, the Office of the DPP will make no comments in relation to the facts and the legal advice given in the case. The DPP also reminded that Section 100 of the Juvenile Justice Act states that a person shall not publish the name or any information relating to a child or juvenile if it will identify the child or juvenile as having been dealt with under the Act. The young child was rushed to the hospital earlier this week and reportedly gave birth on Wednesday. Information about the incident made its way to social media, and the Ministry of Human Services later revealed that an investigation was completed months ago by the Child Care and Protection Agency, which later contacted the police. The Guyana Police Force has offered no information on the matter. However, there are reports that over the past few months, there have also been a number of other cases of minors who have given birth. Scores of sugar workers attached to the Rose Hall Sugar Estate downed their tools today in protest of the firing of 2 managers at the location. The workers gathered outside the estate this morning and refused to begin work, while raising their concerns over the firing of the production manager and the head of the laboratory unit. After a few hours in their quiet protest, many of the workers returned to their jobs, while others decided to take the day off and headed home. Efforts by news source to get a comment from the CEO of GECOM, Paul Chang, was futile. The Guyana Agricultural and General Workers Union has offered no information about the strike action. There are more than 1,000 persons currently employed at the Rose Hall Estate, which was reopened last year as part of the government's push to develop the sugar industry. Since taking office, the government has pumped billions of dollars into GECOM, but the sugar industry continues to operate at a big loss, with billions reported in losses over the past few years. There have also been some management changes, but the production problems persist, with sugar production falling way below its target.
The Guyana Elections Commission GECOM is currently conducting a national registration exercise. Who can register? Anyone who will be 14 years or older by December 31st, 2024 and is a Guyanese citizen by birth, descent, naturalization, or is a citizen from a Commonwealth country living in Guyana for 1 year or more. Types of transactions. Anyone eligible for registration is required to visit the registration office responsible for his or her area of residence to apply for registration. Persons who are already registered could apply for a name change if they have changed their names since they were last registered. Apply for corrections if there is incorrect information on their national ID cards. Persons who are desirous of conducting any of the above transactions must provide the relevant supporting documents. Persons who are already registered could request that their photographs be retaken if the quality of the photographs on their ID cards is unacceptable. Collect their new ID cards if they have not done so as yet. This registration exercise will end on November 29, 2024. For further information, please contact GECOM on the following hotline numbers: 225-027729, 226-6557, 223-9650, or visit the GECOM website at www.gecom.org.gy.
Your own home is so much more than just four walls, floors, and ceilings. It's a lifetime of great memories and stories. Come talk to us and start your journey home today.
Republic Bank, we're the one for you.
Bust the flavors. We're full of flavors. Bust the flavors that me crave for. We're full of flavors. Tell your neighbors about the bust the flavors. Grab a bust the flavors. Yeah, thirst buster. Grab a buster. Bust the flavor, taste the savor. Bust the flavors. Bust the flavors.
It all starts with one. Maybe it's one look, you know the one, or one touch, even one word. I can start with one step, or one promise, one thrill, one first time, one deep breath, one leap of faith, one day to remember, or one night to forget. One moment, so many stories that make up one crazy, average, everyday, fabulous life. We get one life, just one. Make your move. It all starts with one.
Attorney General Anil Nandlal is now sharing his views on a publication by former Acting High Commissioner for Human Rights, Dr. Bertrand Ramcharan, who in a recent article stated that the current government is operating in a seemingly autocratic way. 2 weeks ago, Dr. Ramcharan, in a column in the Stabroek News, highlighted what he saw as autocratic tendencies in the current government. But the Attorney General has strongly disagreed with that position. During his weekly Issues in the News program this week, the Attorney General said Guyana has a constitutional architecture in place that qualifies it as a democracy and not an autocracy. And the government, he said, has been working around those constitutional safeguards.
Firstly, I want to reject vehemently that categorization and classification of the government of Guyana and indeed the state of Guyana. I feel, as Attorney General and Minister of Legal Affairs, it is my duty to do so. So I reject his categorization, I reject his hypothesis, I reject his contention, I reject his classification.
And to further make his point, the Attorney General said the government has, by its actions, been acting in a very democratic manner. He said the establishment of the Public Service, Judicial and Police Service Commissions is one of the ways in which the government has tried to shield itself from being accused of handpicking persons and being labeled as autocratic. He also stated that the fact that the Parliament and parliamentary committees are functioning without hindrance is another example of the government's democratic nature. While he boasted that the Public Accounts Committee is able to carry out its work without hindrance, meetings of that committee have been repeatedly cancelled over the absence of government members, and some parliamentary committees have not met in years. Further, Mr. Nanla said the government's support for the judiciary's independence and free speech is testament of its democratic nature.
The fact that Mr. Ramcharan could have published that article in the Stabrook News without even an official response from the government is evidence without more that there is freedom of press at work, that this is a democracy. You think if we were an autocratic regime, he could have published that? He could have published that because he's maligning the government wrongly. But he has a right to do so. And we have a right to respond. And when we respond, apparently we are autocratic. That is not autocracy, my friend.
The government has always rejected accusations of not being democratic. A 42-year-old taxi driver was arrested on Wednesday and is facing charges for allegedly using a mobile phone to make bomb threats against Caribbean Airlines, the Chedijagan Airport, the Marriott Hotel, and the National Stadium at Providence. The man has been identified as Tavis Damian Roberts from work and rest here in Georgetown. The arrest came after more than a week of investigations by the Criminal Investigations Department of the Guyana Police Force. On the 1st of September, the police received reports of the bomb threat calls that were received by the Caribbean Airlines call center in Trinidad and Tobago, as well as by the Marriott Hotel. In those calls, the person on the line indicated that he was part of a group that was planning an attack on the airline and the other places. Following his arrest and during questioning by the investigators, the taxi driver reportedly admitted to the crime, but told the police that the calls were prank calls and that he had been paid by a group of Venezuelan men to make the calls. Investigators were able to trace the calls to the man's phone, leading to his arrest. He's facing charges of misuse of a telecommunication device.
GECOM is currently conducting a national registration exercise. Who can register? Anyone who will be 14 years or older by December 31, 2024 and is a Guyanese citizen by birth, descent, naturalization, or is a citizen from a Commonwealth country living in Guyana for 1 year or more. Where to apply for registration? You are required to visit the registration office that is responsible for the registration of persons in your area of residence to apply for registration. Office hours, Monday to Thursday, 8 to 12 hours, 13 hours to 16 hours 30, and Friday from 8 to 12 hours and 13 to 15 hours 30. The offices will be closed on weekends and holidays. This registration exercise will end on November 29, 2024. For further information, contact GECOM on 225-0277-9 or visit the website www.gecom.org.gy.
Win one of 10 great prizes in the Mobile Dip and Win promotion. Win a motorcycle, TVs, shopping sprees, or free mobile lubricant. Just buy any mobile lubricant, collect your entry form, complete it, and drop it into boxes provided at leading stores. Yes, buy any mobile lubricant and have a chance to win great prizes. Promotion ends October 2, 2024. Mobile lubricant, proven performance for your engine.
What was supposed to be a night of celebration turned into disaster after 4 friends who were all drunk left the bar in the city without a designated driver. Designate a driver. Don't drink and drive.
It all starts with one. Maybe it's one look, you know the one, or one touch, even one word. I can start with one step, or one promise, one thrill, one first time, one deep breath, one leap of faith, one day to remember, or one night to forget. One moment, so many stories that make up one crazy, average, everyday, fabulous life. We get one life, just one. Make your move. It all starts with one.
Guyana's economy is rapidly transforming, and we're all part of it. GuyOil is at the forefront of this development by providing reliable and efficient energy and supporting community development from the very core. 100% of GuyOil's profit goes back to building schools, roads, and other important infrastructure that connects our cities and towns, providing fuel to domestic, marine, industrial, and aerial transportation. GuyOil has now repositioned itself as market leader in the petroleum industry, building a better future for all of us.
Across the region tonight, water shortages in Cuba are increasingly flaring tempers, including in the capital of Havana, as problems mount for hundreds of thousands of residents already racked from shortfalls in food, fuel, and electricity. Upwards of 600,000 people, more than 1 in 20 on the Caribbean island of 10 million, are suffering from water supply issues. The capital of Havana is the worst affected by the water shortages, though most of the country's largest cities report over 30,000 customers without water. Officials blame the growing problems on crumbling infrastructure and the persistent lack of fuel, symptoms of a festering economic crisis that has blighted growth and left the communist-run country nearly bankrupt. Frequent blackouts have been making matters worse in Cuba. After days of mounting bilateral tensions, Venezuelan Foreign Minister Yvonne Gil has summoned Spain's ambassador to Caracas in order to protest at the minister's description of his country's government as a dictatorship. Gil described as insolent, meddling, and rude comments made by the Spanish defense minister. While discussing various repressive regimes around the world, the Spanish minister spoke of the men and women who have had to leave Venezuela precisely because of the dictatorship they are living through. Gil, writing on messaging app Telegram, said the remarks indicate a deterioration of relations between Venezuela and Spain. As well as summoning the Spanish ambassador Raymond Santos, he said the Venezuelan ambassador in Madrid, Gladys Gutierrez, had been recalled for consultation. And finally tonight, international news. The BBC reports that 37 people, including 3 Americans, a Briton, a Belgian, and a Canadian, have been sentenced to death over an attempt to overthrow the president of the Democratic Republic of Congo. The men were accused of leading an attack on both the presidential palace and the home of the president back in May. A U.S. national of Congolese origin, the suspected leader of the plot, was killed during the attack, along with 5 others. In total, 51 people were tried in a military court, with hearings broadcast on national TV and radio. Those convicted have 5 days to appeal against their sentences. Death sentences have not been carried out in the Democratic Republic of the Congo for roughly 2 decades. Convicts who receive the penalty serve life imprisonment instead. And that's your News Source Evening Bulletin for tonight. I'm Gordon Mosley reporting and encouraging you to have a safe and enjoyable weekend.